Number 10. A ship of riches. The Russian armored cruiser ship called the Dmitry Donskoy sank off the coast of South Korea in 1905. In 2018, it was rediscovered by an exploration group. They found the vessel over 1,200 feet beneath the surface of the ocean. It had once belonged to the Russian Baltic Fleet, sailing the seven seas from 1885 until eventually it was blown to pieces during the Battle of Tsushima. This was back when Russia was fighting against Japan before World War I. The ship sank, but no one knew exactly where it sank. And through the years, it was just kind of forgotten and abandoned. But here's the deal. The shipwreck could be holding as much as $130 billion in gold. So how do people just forget about that? The Korean marine exploration company that found it said that they also discovered some mysterious iron boxes. When the ship was lost at sea, it was supposedly carrying 200 tons of gold. If these iron boxes are what the explorers think they are literally chests of treasure that could make every last one of them mega rich. Now it's just a matter of the explorers actually diving down and bringing the boxes back to the surface. Seems like a small price to pay for a mission, considering what the reward could be. Number 9. The most famous shipwreck. On the beautiful island of Zakynthos in Greece, there's a famous shipwreck that's been photographed by more tourists than any other abandoned wreck on the planet. The wreckage can be found at Navajo Beach, a secluded cove with pristine sand, crystal clear water, and a rusting ship that looks totally out of place. What's really mysterious is that no one is quite sure how the ship got there in the first place. We know it was sometime between 1980 and 1983. The ship was called the MV Panayotis, and it was part of a smuggling operation. It smuggled humans, cigarettes, and wine into Greece. It was when the authorities caught it that the ship accidentally got itself cornered in the cove. At least, this is one theory. There are many other theories, like that the ship lost power, or that it accidentally washed ashore because of the weather, etc. Either way, the villagers saw the ship crash and quickly ran down to the cove. There, as the small crew tried to protect their cargo, the villagers ran away with everything they could get their hands on. The ship has been sitting there in the sand ever since, and it's quite the sight to see. Number 8. The Nazi Hunter. An abandoned ship, a Nazi hunter from World War II, has just recently been discovered off the coast of Canada. It's the U.S. Revenue Cutter Bear, identified after being lost 60 years ago in the cold of the North Atlantic. The ship was originally built in Scotland back in 1874 as a steam-powered vessel. It had a long career in the Coast Guard, it fought in both wars, and it got famous for its successful patrols in the water off the coast of Greenland. It was there where it helped to track and apprehend German spy ships like the Nazi vessel Busko. But after 89 years of dedicated service, the U.S. had no more use for the ship. It was decommissioned in 1963 and was supposed to be a floating restaurant stationed in Philadelphia. But as it was being moved from Nova Scotia in Canada to Philadelphia, it broke free of its tow line and was lost. Nobody bothered to go look for it, and it sank into the Atlantic. It wasn't until 2019 that a research expedition discovered its underwater remains totally by accident. They were able to identify the bear by analyzing its various features and dimensions, which matched up with historical records. Number 7. The PUNIC warship. In the Mediterranean, an ancient abandoned ship from 2,200 years ago was discovered. When researchers went down to look at the ship lying on the seabed off the coast of Sicily, they discovered a whole host of distinct animal species living in it. What was once a fabulous warship is now a home to over 100 unique marine animals. How this ship ended up on the bottom of the sea is a fascinating story. It was when Rome and Carthage first started fighting in the middle of the 3rd century BC. The year was 264, and there was a great naval battle off the island of Sicily. The fighting actually went on for about 23 years. That's a long time. At some point during the warfare, what's known as the First Punic War, the ship sank. Then, over the course of 2,000 years, it became a stable marine ecosystem. Researchers found 33 different types of gastropods, 25 species of mollusks, 33 types of worms, and over 23 types of bryozoans living on the ship's bronze ram alone. If you had the chance, would you take a deep dive down to this abandoned ship to check out all the spectacular marine life? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below, and if you're liking this video, be sure to hit the thumbs up and subscribe buttons if you haven't already. Number 6. The Lusitania. Just 1 year after World War I erupted on May 7, 1915, the RMS Lusitania was torpedoed by a German U-boat and destroyed. This wasn't a military ship, but an ocean liner that was on its way from New York to Liverpool. Out of the 1,900 passengers and crew, 1,100 perished. It was one of the biggest pushes the U.S. had to finally enter the war, although they still didn't step up for another 2 years. The ship was found 20 years after it sank in 1935. Ever since, underwater investigators have been trying to find find clues hidden inside the shipwreck. While it's impossible right now to bring the enormous liner back to the surface, they've managed to recover some artifacts. Particularly, they've been bringing telegraphs up from the ruined ship in the hopes that they contain information via commands sent to the engine room from officers on the bridge. But as of yet, no useful information has been found. The ship is still sitting abandoned 270 feet beneath the surface. Number 5. The Ship of the French Baron. About 40 years ago, a mysterious sunken ship was found in the water off the coast of Israel. New research is suggesting that this suspicious abandoned vessel may have belonged to a famous French baron. Researchers have pored through records and documents from the 1800s and concluded that the wreck is connected to Baron de Rothschild, a filthy rich French banker. The ship itself was discovered by a diver in 1976 in the Tantura Lagoon. But the diver didn't have much money, and at the time, people weren't super interested in abandoned shipwrecks. Nobody bothered excavating the thing until 2008. That was when they found the ship extremely well preserved, still filled with goods, even sacks of hazelnuts and peanuts. According to Live Science, historical records show that the Baron was sending goods through his shipping company to a Jewish settlement on the coast. This must have been in the middle of a delivery when something happened and it found itself sitting at the bottom of the sea. Number 4. The Point Reyes boat. The Point Reyes boat is abandoned in Inverness, California. There's not much left of it now. A huge piece of boat-shaped metal sitting on a sandbar. It's one of the most photographed shipwrecks anywhere in the U.S. because of its position in a protected wetland. Among the animals and native plants, it's a great big rotting hulk of wood and metal that just doesn't belong. How did it get here? It was originally dragged by the previous landowner up onto the sandbar because he intended to fix the ship. But like so many projects, this one never got done. The owner never got around to making the repairs, he abandoned the boat where it was, and that was it. The land was eventually sold to a wetlands restoration firm. They had been planning to destroy the ship, but local photographers helped petition to keep the shipwreck where it stands. It worked and really paid off. Now there's even a trail that leads to the picturesque wreckage. And if you're feeling brave, you can even climb onto the boat. It's just not highly recommended because you might break through the wooden floor and be impaled by something spiky. Number 3. Royal Navy Shipwreck. A mysterious shipwreck was discovered on a Latvian beach. It wasn't a fishing boat from a local village. It wasn't even a discarded and abandoned cruise liner. Instead, it appears to be the broken remains of a Royal Navy warship from 200 years ago. The experts in Latvia found exposed beams on a sandy beach no more than a few miles from Riga. But it wasn't until excavators arrived with massive digging machines that the entire ship was revealed. They were able to look at the building material and date it back to Britain in the mid-1800s. Sadly, almost nothing is known of the origin of the ship. Its timbers are crafted of oak, copper nails were used in its construction, and the best guess historians have is that it was a warship for the British Royal Navy. Most likely it went on a patrol in the Baltics. If not a warship, it may have been a merchant vessel bringing goods from England to the North Seas and back. But there's really no way to tell for sure. Experts don't even know how it ended up abandoned on the beach, buried in several feet of sand. Number 2. A mysterious tanker. The wreckage of a mysterious tanker was found off the coast of Newfoundland and Labrador in the Flemish Pass Basin. Neil Burgess with the local Preservation Society revealed sonar images of the ship showing it's still sitting upright at the bottom of the ocean. But how the ship got there and when it happened is anybody's guess. One shot in the dark was that the ship was once a British oil tanker that, surprise surprise, was destroyed by German U-boats in World War II. We do know of one tanker in the area that got hit with 5 torpedoes and was broken clean in half. However, photographs of the ship haven't matched up with the sonar images. There are now heaps of other possibilities. The ship could be a German fishing trawler that sank back in 1985, or it could be the remains of a Russian container ship that went down in '82. The difficulty in determining its identity just goes to show how many shipwrecks are currently abandoned in the seas, seemingly everywhere you look. Number 1. The 1942 Outer Banks disaster. 80 years ago in 1942, the Lady Hawkins disappeared off the coast of North Carolina, killing over 250 people. The ship was a Canadian luxury liner that got blown up by a German U-boat, as was so common during the war. But what's really mysterious about the Lady Hawkins is that the wreckage has never actually been found. Despite our modern technology and seafloor mapping equipment, nobody knows where the bones of the ship lie. And it's not like historians and archaeologists haven't been looking. It's as if a full cruise ship just vanished into thin air. Only 71 out of 322 people on board the ship survived the attack. What we know for sure is that the U-boat blasted the ship, her forward mast broke, she careened onto her side, and everybody started tumbling into the water. Then, a second torpedo hit the engine room. It was a miracle that 71 people in their night clothes managed to get to a single lifeboat and reach safety. All these years later, the Lady Hawkins is still missing and there's no sign of it anywhere. Some believe the wreckage may never be found, while others eagerly await its rediscovery. What's your favorite shipwreck that you saw in the video today? Let us know in the comments down below, and thanks a lot for watching. If you haven't yet, be sure to hit that subscribe button and come back soon for another amazing video right here on American Eye.